Today is September 21st, the year 2022. And it has occurred to me uh, the discussions about the front side and the back side. And it is very interesting how I heard about this. I heard about this in the past. And only now am I able to logically think about what that means. And essentially, when trading is based on support and resistance, that is essentially what it is. A single point, when I enter and when I exit, essentially is the single point, which means that if it stays at that single point, it is essentially the support and resistance at the same time. Now, a stock starts and then ends at the point where I get out, and whatever happens in between is irrelevant. And that means that if the second point is higher than the first point, and I'm doing a call, that means that essentially those are the 2 points where trades are made. So now taking taking that into consideration, um, I've noticed that I'm always on the front side. The definition of a front side and back side. So the front side and the back side, which means that when a so essentially it applies to a reversion trading. It only applies to it makes more sense when reversion trading is considered, when a front side and a back side is considered. If a stock is trending, then the front side that I get into or the back side doesn't matter because it's trending, right? But when so essentially a front side and a back side only applies to reversion trading, whereas the meaning is lost in trend, whether it's trending down or trending up. Essentially, the front side and the back side does not make any sense at all when the stock is trending. However, when the stock is in a reversion, attempting to create a let's say a double bottom, it means that before a concrete formation of a double bottom is established and I enter on the second bottom formation, it is probable, it is possible that it really is not a double bottom, and it'll continue to drop and drop and drop, in which case I'm thinking that when I'm performing a reversion trade, that assumption can be very, very costly, and I've been doing that for quite a while, and I would be adding to average down to the trade that I made. That essentially is attempting to grab a hold of a falling knife. So in the future, in order to make sure that the trade is properly gauged or proportionally assigned to a higher probability of trading, I hope this makes sense. The higher probability of a trade is essentially getting in on the back end, whereas the double bottom or the triple bottom, and in instances where the bottoms are created, is to apply and enter at the point where the formation has been solidly defined. Granted, there is a probability that even though there is a double bottom or triple bottom, it is possible for the price to depreciate further down. Now that is a probability. However, there is a higher probability because of that formation, which normally in more common cases to establish a reversion point. And if I get in on the front side, there is a probability that the read that I'm attempting to perform has not sufficiently created the double bottom formation, which in that case would cause a severe drawdown, and it is possible and most likely will cause a emotional trigger that shakes my trade out at most, and in a lot of the cases that I've experienced so far, at the most painful moment, and it usually turns out to be the low of the day, lowest portion of the day. And after that point is established, then when a significant amount of flush occurs, then a reversion occurs. Now, had I waited until that reversion is substantiated, then the probability of following that trend on a reversal is higher. So the question is, so essentially, what I'm solidifying with this video is I need to practice. I need to essentially look into the higher probability trade of establishing a backside, the front side, and the backside. And the backside, you know, I need to double check whether those are flipped around. But the idea is to wait until the okay. So I may have those terminologies backwards. I'll double check on that. But essentially, what I'm attempting to establish is when a reversion it only applies to reversion trading on the front side or the back side. I'll consider the backside. If I consider when I consider that the stock is moving down and attempting to establish a double bottom, I'll consider this part of it is the front side, and that will be the backside. Or I could flip that around. Okay, I need to figure that out. Okay.